What up, everybody? I'm just going to read the latest news flash from the villages of some new things about the coronavirus. I know you're all probably getting sick of it, but I feel some way, even though I'm not in Florida, that there's so many people that watches my villages channel because they're considering moving there, that I'm not reiterating this stuff over and over and over again. I'm not going to report all kinds of frivolous stuff, about this door has toilet paper, that one don't. I think all that's ridiculous, and I think those of you, let me just say this about that. If you're going to the store and you're buying 100 rolls of toilet paper and 50 bottles of hand sanitizer, you're the problem. You are taking product away from other people that may need it, and because you're hoarding it, they can't have it, and that's wrong. Take what you need and leave the rest. That's all I'm going to say. On top of what I think a lot of this is really overrated. That's, remember the N1, S1N1, whatever the heck it was? It was much worse than this, and we didn't have any of this rhetoric going on. Just saying. So let me read the latest report from the villages of questions and things, and it's got a lot of stuff in it that might be interesting for those of you that's considering buying a home and you're wondering, for elderly people, when something like this happens, how does the villages respond to this in order to, I'll say, protect you as a resident there? I think that's a fair question. So I'm going to read the whole thing to you. I'll read it slow because I'm not the best reader in the world. I'm not Walter Cronkite. I don't make the news up. I'm just reading it to you. I get a lot of comments sometimes. People tell me, saying, why do you report that? I'm reading the news to you. You don't have to like the news. This is it. From taking residents' temperatures upon entry to the Savannah Center, the potential dangers of slow dancing at the town squares, villages officials are being prepped with many questions about the coronavirus. The Amenity Authority Committee, that's the AAC. You've heard me mention the AAC. That's what that means. The Amenity Authority Committee on Wednesday discussed at length what COVID-19, the COVID-19, means here in Florida's friendliest hometown, and heard from residents who had ideas for combating the threat. And trust me, we have residents in the villages that are very well educated in a lot of things. I mean, just don't think it's just a bunch of old people that used to work at Starbucks or something. It's not that way. We have professional retired baseball players there, sports people. We have retired rocket scientists there that worked their careers in NASA. We have some very interesting people that live there. So when things like this happen, sometimes our retired residents knows a lot. Villager Ron Ballard, who was an associate director for global health for the Centers for Disease Control and still serves as a consultant for the World Health Organization, said villagers could be uniquely endangered in the new era of coronavirus. The risk of infection is the same. The risk of the complications is much higher here, Ballard said in reference to the senior population in the villages. He suggested that in the event that existing medical facilities become overwhelmed, neighborhood teams should be established to care for those in need. He offered his services to the AAC, which oversees amenities north of County Road 466. So, and I think he's absolutely correct. As we panic, and we will, some of us will, the clinics, the emergency rooms, they're open to the public, not just villagers. They're all going to run in there, especially since the treatment, the way I understand it, is totally free. It's being paid for by the government. So that means everybody that lives in the villages, around the villages, or near the villages can all run to the nearest emergency room and be checked out for the coronavirus or whatever they're doing. I don't even know what they're doing. And so the day's going to come, if not already here, that you're going to go in there and it's going to be just full of people. So having neighborhood people that are retired physicians, retired like this man, that knows things, I think that's a good idea. The problem with that is we're not going to have enough of them. John Stickle, a resident of the Greenbrier Villas, suggested bold strategies such as taking the temperature of everyone entering the Savannah Center. He also wondered about the many clubs and social groups in the villages. That's another true statement. That, such as my wife, she has the Ladies' Cards Day on Monday, and you guys know this, and they go from one house to another, and they alternate where they're going to have cards. There's only about, 10 or 12 of them at a time that goes. But you got to wonder, is that the smart thing to do? I don't know. If anybody's got a runny nose or cough, the way I understand it, they're just suggesting, even if you know it's a cold, they're just suggesting stay home. Just don't even get around people. Don't even take the chance. A lot of this is common sense. But I got to tell you, old people seems like a lot of them lose that common sense. They just don't have it. What is your recommendation for people running groups in the villages? I think there's a need to be some guidance. That's what Stickle told the AAC. I think he's correct about that. He related a story about a woman who had been coughing during a group meeting. Are the meeting rooms being cleaned between groups? Well, my question is, if she has a cough, why is she going to the meetings? That's what I'm talking about right there, common sense. She doesn't know if it's just a regular cough. She doesn't know what it is, but she knows that, I'm going to go anyway, because she just doesn't have any common sense. I don't know who the lady was, but I just called you out. The answer is question was no. The answer to that question was no, although the district is looking at stepping up its cleaning services with contractors. The villages sometimes, and I don't know who runs what where, sometimes they always run behind everybody else. They don't seem to really be, other than keeping the community clean and make it look like a place that you want to buy a home, they do that to make things look good. But when it comes to underlying stuff, sometimes they're really slow. And I don't know if it falls in the developer's pocket to do that, or is it a Sumter County problem to do that? I'm not sure where the lines cross. There's no testing in Sumter County. I read this a while ago and I thought to myself, what? That just, even here in Rockport, Texas, if you look at a map, you'll see where I'm at. It's just a small community. We've already been notified here, and it started, I think, yesterday or day before yesterday, that the Walmart here, there's a tent, I think, or something set up in Walmart parking lot. I think. I haven't been there. That's the emergency testing station. Anybody. If you've got a fever, a sniffle, a cough, you just don't feel 100%, you can go in there. They will test you for the virus absolutely free. Now, a little bitty town like this can do that. And the villages of 130, 40,000 people? What? Come on. The first responders, the fire stations, all them people around there, and you haven't got nothing set up yet? You're dropping the ball on this one. He told villagesnews.com that he was alarmed to find empty soap dispensers in the men's restroom at Savannah Center. I don't know what happened there, because generally our restrooms are super clean, super everything. I haven't never found a bad one, not anywhere in the villages. But I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm not going to blame Savannah Center for that. Some of our residents in the villages will steal anything that's not fastened down. And when something like this happens, and they've already said that the hand sanitizing lotion in all the rec centers is disappearing. That means our residents, or whoever's going in there, is stealing it. That's bottom line. They're picking something up that doesn't belong to them, and they're taking it. They're sneaking it out. But some people, here's how their mind works there. Well, my amenity fees pays for all this, so I'm taking it anyway. No, that's not true at all. But whatever it takes for you to sleep well at night, you go ahead and keep stealing stuff because you don't think everybody else needs it and you need it. AAC member Don Deacon urged preparedness. The Villages has about 130,000. Listen, that number's all over the place. 130, 150, who knows? Most who are in the senior category. We might be the largest concentration of senior citizens anywhere in the world. I think it behooves us, nice word, behooves, being as large as we are, to be proactive. Deacon warned, we should take action before it is too late. First of all, who's we? I like when they use words like you, we, them, it, that. There's no face attached to that. The district has formed an internal team focused on all aspects of the coronavirus. The district is facing a barrage of questions from residents, ranging from whether they should refrain from slow dancing at the square. No need, they closed the squares down. There is no music at the squares, till further notice, the way I understand it. Or whether they can receive refunds on tickets purchased for shows in the Villages. Well, that's a good question. I would say, yes, you should have those refunds coming. You bought a ticket to see a show. The show was canceled for whatever reason. You should get a refund. That's the way I see it. I'm not sure how it's going to be, though. The district has adopted a proactive strategy for dispensing extra cleaning solution to employees, to getting timely information to residents from the CDC, Sumter County Health Department, and the state. In the end, residents will have to make decisions based on their health and their situation, said District Manager Richard Byer. It's no different than going into a busy Walmart or a doctor's office. Residents have to be prepared. And that's a true statement. You go into a doctor's office for, I don't know, you're just a normal 6-month checkup. I do it every 6 months. You go in for a lab. Everybody does this, right? And you're perfectly healthy. I have no problems. I have no symptoms or no aches and pains. I feel good. And I go into a doctor's office. It's full of people. There's one chair. I sit in that chair, and there's 15 people around me coughing, sniffing, hacking, and carrying on. I just wonder why. I think I'm more at risk in a doctor's office than I would be if I just didn't even go in. You know? I mean, I'm not a germaphobe, but I don't like sitting next to somebody that's got a runny nose and puking all over the place. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's the updated news from the Villages. I know you're getting sick of it, but I feel a little responsibility here for those who are considering buying homes to give them the information they need of how does the Villages handle something like this before they buy a home. And I think it's a fair question. So with that being said,